All right, we got our basic info row in position, so now we can piggyback off of the selection monitor with a bit of tweaks. Let's go to our TaskQueue container guy right here. Go to the selection monitor class. Okay, so for the selection monitor, we need to be passed a value tree, whether or not it's valid or not. So we need to change what our lambda gets called with. So we will do, we'll just change this argument. Actually, let's just change this whole thing right here. We will do using callback equals, and then we'll do this guy right here. And we'll just change this. So we don't have to type this twice. That takes care of updating the constructor, and now we need to change our timer callback implementation so that way we can extract a value tree from whatever item is currently selected or not. We need to move this to a CPP file that has the definition of TaskQueue item in place. So let's semicolon this out, comment this, and then we'll add the implementation of it down here. We'll put it right below tree saver. All right, let's go to that. Let's do that right here. Void selection monitor timer callback. And we need a value tree. We're going to start with an empty one first. Value tree. Now we can do if auto TQI equals, we're going to get, if there's a selected item, we're going to try to pull it from it. So we'll show you what I mean. Let's see, we can do treeview.get, oh, I didn't spell that right. Treeview.get selected item. Let's see what this, if we look at this. This might, if root item is not null pointer, we can grab it. Otherwise, it's going to return a null pointer. So this is why we can do this. So we're going to do, we're going to want the only one that's selected. And we're going to wrap this in a dynamic cast because this returns tree view items. And we want it to return a TaskQueue item because our TaskQueue item has a value tree member that we want to access. So we will do if auto TQI equals dynamic cast, and we're looking for a TaskQueue item. Oh, let me spell that right. And then we're going to do this thing right here. All right, if we can convert the selected item into a TaskQueue item, let me put this all on the same screen so it's easy to look at. If we can convert our selected item into a TaskQueue item pointer, then we can update this empty tree. Tree equals TQI get tree, like that. And now we can do what we did in the, we can do what we did over here if f call the lambda. If f tree view get num selected items is greater than 0, and then pass it our tree as well. All right, now we can we can try it out now. Let's see what we get. We'll select a couple different things and see if this is all it took. I'm pretty sure this is all it takes. What's going on? Selection monitor. What did I change? Oh yes, my lambda needs to be changed. Let's see, where does that happen? It's down here somewhere. Add task selection monitor. Okay, something is selected. This is what we need to change. This is our value tree. Value tree. Okay, and so add subtasks, something is selected, yes. And now we can do this task info viewer dot update tree. Okay, cool. Now let's try it. All right, let's just click on some. Look at that. All right, let's make a task. Ta-da. Date created is, this is a much nicer view than that other thing. And then if we click the check mark, it shows the time completed. Awesome. All right, that's perfect. So you know what that means. That means we get to check off show creation completion date at bottom of window. Boom. All right, let's do the squeezed button text next. That's this guy right here. Button text is squeezed. Let's do this one right here. All right, let's go to our main component, our TaskQueue. Let's go to our TaskQueue container, CPP. And let's take a quick look at these text button docs, actually. See if there's anything in here that can help us out. let's see. We want all of these guys to have a consistent width. Okay, look at this. Changes the button's width to fit neatly around its current text without changing its height. Okay, so let's give all the buttons the same height, and then we can use this function right here to give us their ideal width. That's pretty simple. Okay, so let's go down to our resized function, and let's see. Here's our top row of buttons. Okay, cool. So let's give ourselves a constant int right here that all the buttons can use as their height reference. So const int button height, HIGHT, geez Louise, hard to spell. All right, let's do 24. It's kind of, you know, in between 30 and 40, or in between 20 and 30, which is what we're currently doing for our row heights for these guys. And then we can change this button to be redo button instead of with flex. We can get rid of that. And we can do with width. And now we can do that redo button dot get best width for height. And we can pass it this button height. Just hide that right there. All right, that's pretty simple. So let's do this same thing for the other buttons. Let's see. We'll just copy this whole line and we'll change the button name. Space, 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 space. Replace our load button. Okay, so this needs to be the undo button. Same for here. Undo button. This needs to be the load button. Not load tree, load button. Load button. And then this is the new button. And we'll do the same thing down here in our bottom row because we've got our show hide completed button and we have the add task and add subtask buttons. So we'll do the same thing here. Space, 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 and replace, replace, replace. And now this was the show hide completed button. Show hide completed button. This was the add task button. Add task button. Oops, add task button, and then this was the add subtask button. Okay, that takes care of that. Let's try it out. That should look much better now. All right, let's try it out. And if we squeeze these guys, they don't shrink. Oh, they shrink a little bit there. That's okay though. We'll work on that. And yeah, that works for me. Okay, cool. I'll take it. So we can check that off from our to-do list. Button text is squeezed. All right. What else can we check off? I think we can do the task text is squeezed. Let's see what that one. Oh, I spelled that wrong. All right, so for this one, for the task text is squeezed, let's look through the label docs. Let's go to where our label is created. Let's pull up these docs here. See if there's anything about scaling or squeezing or whatever. Scale, no, nothing there. Squeeze. Let's just see. Let's just look through this. Maybe there's something here. Is there anything noticeable? What is this horizontal scale thing? What is that? Let's look at that. Get horizontal scale. Specifies the amount the font can be squashed horizontally. Okay. So this is the one that we want. Use a value of 0 for a default value. Okay, here we go. Specifies the minimum amount that the font can be squashed horizontally before it starts using ellipses. Ellipses, ellipsis, whatever. So I think that's what we want to deal with. All right, for this task text is squeezed. Okay. So let's go to our TaskQueue item component.cpp and let's go to where our label is added. And we can put that right here. Let's see, label dot set minimum. Let's just try 1. Let's see what that does. All right, let's try shrinking it horizontally. Oh, awesome. So it doesn't squeeze the text anymore. That's rad, so we can check that off. And does that mean that there's one that we can use for the buttons? Let's take a look. Let's go to our TaskQueue container, go to our .h text button. Is there a way to not show and not squeeze the text? I don't think there is for this guy, because there's no way to access how it prints it other than to override the set look and feel. But I don't want to spend time doing that. That would be under paint button, draw button, text. Let's see what this does. Okay, look and feel, draw button, text. Is there anything here that we can deal with this? Font height times 0.6, and then draw fitted text. Okay, does this have anything we could do? Okay, so maximum number of lines is 2. That's this argument here. Okay, so minimum horizontal scale. Okay, so if we wanted to, we could literally just copy this whole function right here and then just add that 1.0 as the last parameter. But I'm not inclined to do that because I'm not bothered by it. If it's something that I really was concerned about, then I would do that. So we'll just leave that alone for right now. So that means we can go over here and check off task text is squeezed. You can go like that. Okay, awesome. So this is a thing that we might want to deal with, and then same for this. We'll just leave it on the to-do list for now.